Okay, let's dive in. I want to start with something maybe a bit tragic, a hypothetical. Think about a marriage.
Okay.
It doesn't end with, a huge fight or some big explosion. Instead, it just fades, a quiet whimper.
Right. Neglect.
Exactly. The couple just sort of stopped investing. They stopped putting that deliberate order into the relationship, and they just allowed the natural flow of decay, what we're calling the quiet killer, to run its course.
And that erosion you're talking about, that's basically the physical law of entropy in action. It's this universal tendency toward disorder.
Which is what we really want to dig into today, right?
Yeah.
Connecting this physical law to, sin and the need for intentional work, for maintenance.
Precisely. It's the second law of thermodynamics. And what it tells us is that fundamentally disorder is the cosmic default setting.
The default, so order isn't natural.
Not in the sense of being automatic. Order requires constant, costly input. Energy, intelligent maintenance. Some scientists even call active ordering negentropy. Without that constant input, things break down, whether it's a star or, like you said, a relationship.
And you see this so clearly in the physical world. I mean, think about a neglected house. The homeowner stops mowing the lawn, ignores the dripping tap, puts off repairs.
Entropy takes over. The weeds grow, the paint peels, the wood rots.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, and our sources back this up, is that decline isn't just their problem. One neglected house can actually create this blight effect. It can lower property values for the entire neighborhood.
That's right, sometimes by 5, even 10%. It shows that doing nothing isn't neutral. It's an active choice for decay that affects everyone connected.
Which is a perfect segue, isn't it, into this idea of moral entropy.
It really is. Because we often think of sin as this, act of rebellion, an explosion of evil.
Right, like a deliberate act.
But maybe more often, sin is actually a failure of omission. It's passive. It's surrendering to that current of disorder, just letting things slide.
And the Bible seems to diagnose this.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
The diagnosis is pretty clear. Romans 8 talks about creation itself being subjected to futility, in bondage to decay. It paints a picture of a universe that's fundamentally sort of winding down. It's the background state.
Okay, so if fighting this decay, maintaining order, requires constant input, what's the real cost? Is it just annoying to have to, keep the house clean or work on our health? Or is there a measurable toll?
Oh, it's absolutely a measurable toll, that conscious effort. It takes mental energy, bandwidth. Psychologists talk about executive function. It's metabolically expensive for our brains.
So it genuinely drains us to impose order.
It does. And that's maybe why, ancient wisdom traditions so often focused on the figure of the sluggard.
Ah, right. Proverbs.
Exactly. Proverbs 24 gives that vivid picture. The sluggard's field, it's overgrown with thorns, the stone wall is broken down. And why? Not because of some disaster.
No big storm, no invasion.
No. It was because of a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Ruin achieved through pure passivity. Do nothing.
Okay, so we've got the diagnosis. Passive neglect leads to ruin. It's the default. So what's the prescription? Especially in those really crucial areas like trying to stop that relational drift in a marriage.
Well, the prescription is basically the opposite of passivity. It's intentional sacrificial vigilance. For marriage, you look at Ephesians 5, it talks about this continuous, deliberate, self-giving love. That's the antidote to neglect.
So you don't just fall into a good marriage and stay there passively.
Not at all. You have to actively build it day by day. Create peace, cultivate gratitude, like Colossians 3 suggests. It's active commitment.
What about on the personal level, our own health, our minds, they naturally atrophy too, right? We get forgetful, maybe out of shape if we just let things go.
Definitely. Our bodies, our minds, they follow the same law. If you don't actively use them, strengthen them, feed them good things, they decline.
So how do we resist that pull personally?
By understanding that stewardship itself is an anti-entropic act. Genesis talks about tending the garden, right? That same principle applies. We need that renewing of your mind that Romans 12 talks about. Actively seeking truth, engaging in challenge.
Diligent stewardship.
Yes. If we don't deliberately choose order and truth, our minds just drift towards, apathy, cultural noise, mental junk food, you could say.
Which brings us back to that ripple effect you mentioned with the house. If my personal systems, my home, my work habits, my health are in disorder, that spills out, doesn't it?
It always does. But the reverse is also true. When you actively work to maintain order in your own sphere, That diligence becomes a positive force. It's stewardship for the community.
How so?
Because you're creating reliable, functioning systems. You're upholding that principle from 1 Corinthians. Let all things be done decently and in order. Personal order contributes to communal order. It makes things work better for everyone.
So stepping back then, the big picture is disorder, decay, entropy. That's the default state of things in a fallen world.
That's the baseline reality we're operating in.
And realizing that, it really reframes how we look at problems, doesn't it?
It absolutely should. I mean, given this universal reality of entropy, maybe the most provocative question isn't the one we usually ask. Why do bad things happen? Decay and breakdown are, in a sense, the natural flow.
So the real question is?
The real question, the miracle really is, why do good things happen at all?
Yeah.
Why is there life? Why is there order, health, beauty, love? Because all of those things require continuous, costly, intentional effort, intervention against the current.
That's a powerful thought. Goodness is the uphill battle.
It is, but, and this is crucial, the fight isn't forever.
Right. There's an end game to this struggle against decay.
Exactly. The ultimate promise in redemption, looking at Revelation 21, is that eventually entropy itself will be abolished. A new heaven, a new earth, perfect eternal order where, as it says, there will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain.
No more decay.
No more decay. But until then, our calling is clear. We have to consciously, deliberately choose to push back against the drift, to build, maintain, and steward order.